Hey guys, we are back with chapter 4, part 2 of I Hunt Killers. Now we're going to take a deep breath in. Jazz and Howie sat on a bench in the hallway of the funeral home, cuffed together. The cuffs were too tight, even though Howie had immediately brought up his hemophilia, and a bruise was already forming on his wrist. Howie bore it with his usual stoicism. "My mom is going to kill me," he whined. "Seriously, she's going to see this bruise and be like, 'How did you get that?' And then I'm going to have to tell her that I let you talk me into this crazy idea, and then she's going to..." Jazz tuned him out, instead watching the deputy who was poking around inside the morgue, just barely within visual range, making sure nothing was out of order or missing. He'd already confiscated the copy of the report in Jazz's possession. How had he so misread this guy? At the crime scene, he'd seemed nervous and fidgety. Now he was just fine. The deputy came out of the morgue. "You kids are in a lot of trouble," he said. "You moved the body, didn't you?" Jazz shrugged. "Do you know who you're talking to?" Howie demanded. "Well, yeah," said the deputy. "I took your wallets when I cuffed you, remember?" "Oh, right." The deputy grinned. "Don't go thinking that just because your buddy is some kind of local celebrity that you're going to get off easy." Jazz laughed. Local celebrity? That was the first time he'd ever been described that way. "You think this is funny?" The deputy turned his attention to Jazz. "This is serious business here. Breaking and entering, contaminating evidence, theft. What did you think you were doing here?" "What are you doing here?" Jazz wanted to ask. It's never a bad tactic to put someone on the defensive, if you can. No deputy should be lingering around the morgue at night. But before Jazz could say anything, a door opened at the other end of the corridor, and G. William trundled in, dressed in jeans and an old windbreaker, his hair a bird's nest of tangles and offshoots. "Oh, great," Howie muttered. The deputy looked up, mingled relief and concern flashing across his face. "Sorry to get you out of bed for something like this, Sheriff, but being as it's my first day and all, I didn't want to assume too much authority right off the bat, especially since I know you have a He stumbled for a moment. "Well, a relationship with one of these guys." G. William stood before Jazz and Howie, hands on hips. "Well, well. Looks like you boys have met Deputy Erickson already. Just transferred in from out of state. Littenberg, right, Erickson?" "Yes, sir. Just up past the state line." G. William grinned at the boys. "Grooming him to be my second in command. Damn good cop, wouldn't you say?" "Lucky, more like," Jazz said. Erickson stiffened. "He didn't track us down," Jazz pointed out. "He didn't have an inkling that something was going on in the morgue. He just wandered in there and saw us. Speaking of which, why was..." "You're missing the point here, Jazz," G. William interrupted. "The point being that I don't care how or why he got you. What matters is that you're busted. Now, I'm going to ask you how you got in here, and if I don't like your answer, I'm going to ask Howie, because I know Howie will tell me the truth. Won't you, Howie?" Howie gulped. Jazz thought quickly. There was no point getting Lana in trouble by telling G. William how they'd sneaked a copy of the key out right in front of her. "I made a dupe last month," Jazz said, "when you had that car accident victim in here. I was curious." G. William's eyes narrowed, and he looked from Jazz to Howie and back again. Then, "Erickson, take Howie upstairs and start the paperwork on him. Be careful on account of his illness." "Got it. Jazz, you and me are going to talk." He led Jazz into the morgue as Erickson led Howie away. Jazz tried not to let the wounded puppy look on Howie's face affect him. He had more immediate concerns. "So, you were just curious about that body last month, eh?" G. William said once they were in the morgue. "And did you satisfy that curiosity?" "Yes." "Really? You got up close to it? Saw everything you needed to see? Got your eyeballs nice and bloody with it?" "Sure, why not?" "Yes, G. William, I saw it. I was wondering what..." G. William laughed and slapped his thigh. "I have got to tell you, Jazz, I've been a cop for most of my life, so I've been lied to a lot. and I've been lied to by some real pros. But you, kiddo, you are the best liar I've ever had the pleasure to bust in a lie. I'm not. G. William waved a hand. No, save your breath. Save it. You're busted, Jazz. You're totally convincing, and you would have had me, but for one thing. That accident victim last month, he was an Orthodox Jew. In accordance with his family's wishes, we had a rabbi sitting in here with the body all night, until we could get a Jewish funeral home to take it away. Jazz groaned. And Rabbi Goldstein might not be all that spry these days, but you would have noticed you skulking around the body, I think. Howie shouldn't get in trouble, Jazz said immediately. I made him come along. He does whatever I tell him to do. Do what you want to me, but it's not cool to ding Howie. At that, G. William softened. You keep surprising me. Meaning what? That maybe I won't turn out like my dad? I never said that, G. William barked, pointing a stubby finger at Jazz. Don't go putting words in my mouth. You're the one who walks around town acting like you're fated to be just like Billy when you grow up. I never accused you of that. But I have to admit, he went on, now looking around the morgue, busting into this place at night doesn't exactly rank high on the normal guy scale. It was time to come clean, whether Jazz liked it or not. Until G. William was satisfied, he was going to hold the threat of Howie being booked over Jazz's head, and Jazz didn't want to have to deal with Howie's mother freaking out about her baby being arrested. And, of course, he actually didn't want Howie to be arrested in the first place. I wanted to see if you guys missed anything with the Jane Doe, he admitted. I needed to see for myself. And helped yourself to a copy of the preliminary report while you were at it. Jazz shrugged. It's not like it had anything important in it. Nope. You should have waited to break in tomorrow night, after the full autopsy was done. Got impatient, eh? It's a serial killer, G. William. You have to believe me. All I have to do is wake up in the morning and go to bed at night, Jazz. Everything else is optional. Come on. He gestured for Jazz to follow him and led him out of the morgue, then up to the police station. Howie sat shackled to a chair next to Deputy Erickson's desk, looking miserable. Erickson was trying to figure out something on the computer. Lana stood behind him, pointing at the screen. When Jazz walked in, she looked shocked, even though Howie's presence must have clued her in. Jazz tried flashing her the charmer, and sure enough, Lana responded with a smile, even though Jazz was cuffed too. Hi, Lana. Hi, Jasper. Enough chit-chat, G. Williams said. We're gonna cut these two loose. Score, said Howie. What? Said Erickson. Like I was saying, G. William repeated with ill-concealed annoyance at the interruption. We're gonna cut these two loose, with a warning, and we're confiscating their key. But Sheriff, Erickson was out of his chair, practically knocking over Lana. They were breaking and entering. They could have taken evidence, or... You caught him, Erickson. You stopped him. That's enough for me. Part of being a good cop is knowing when something is too much effort for its own good. We put this one's name in a police blotter, he pointed at Jazz, and believe me, we'll spend the next week doing nothing but answering questions about Billy Dent's kid. We don't have time for that nonsense. Not for something that boils down to the equivalent of a kid's prank. Let him go. Thanks, G. William, Jazz said quietly. I didn't do it for you, kid. Did it for my own sanity. I'm heading home. He paused at the door and turned back. Oh, and Jazz, Howie, I catch you two pulling any more shenanigans, and I will not be inclined to go easy on you. Hear? Yes, sir, Jazz said. Sir, yes, sir, Howie barked, saluting with his free hand. Lana returned to her desk, not before stealing another look at Jazz, of course, and Erickson grumbled as he released Howie from the cuffs. Careful, Howie said. Watch it. His wrist was molted with bruises from the cuff and from Erickson's fingers. Sorry, the deputy said in a curt tone that seemed to be anything but an apology. Erickson stalked over to Jazz, who held out his wrist to be released. Erickson stared at Jazz, and something in the deputy's eyes made Jazz want to shiver, an urge he resisted. He had the disturbing sense that Erickson was going to defy Tanner and refuse to unlock the cuffs. How could I have been so wrong about that guy? Jazz thought. I saw isolation and weakness. But it was really, what? First day jitters? Something else?
Their eyes locked for long seconds. Jazz had never feared another human being, other than his father, and he wasn't about to start now. Erickson grunted at last and unlocked the cuffs. "I'm not going to forget this," he said. Jazz flashed him a grin, just because he knew it was annoying. "I won't either," he thought.